All right, let's go back to that anticipated cabinet reshuffle. I'm joined in studio by political reporter Aldrin Sampear. Thank you for being with us. It seems like the ante is upped. Well, the expectation is that it could be any minute now. What do we know?
Well, we understand that, yes, it could be any minute now. Emphasis on any minute.
We're not saying which minute.
We're not saying which minute, but any minute, yes, indeed. Yes, we are expecting an announcement on the cabinet reshuffle. It's been a long time that we've been anticipating this. And I think it's just now being exacerbated or reconfirmed by this breaking news that we got that the ANC Deputy President, Didi Mabuza, as well as the former Treasurer General of the party, Zweli Mkhize, will be members of Parliament, will be sworn in as members of Parliament tomorrow. I understand that there's a whole list that has been sent to Parliament that needs some sort of amending. We understand that the list that came from Mpumalanga, because remember that Didi Mabuza has never been on the list of the never been on the ANC list sent to Parliament, but because provinces also send their list to Parliament, he's going to Parliament on Mpumalanga's list.
And this links to, we were speaking to a constitutional law expert, he can only choose MPs. I think there's a gap for two outside of Parliament.
He can only choose from members of Parliament who would become ministers, of course, because remember that ministers are held accountable by Parliament. Parliament has oversight over the role of the executive, so they form part of the executive. You remember that, was it Nomvula Mokonyane, after the 2014 elections, and President Jacob Zuma, of course, came in as the president of the country, while former President Jacob Zuma now came in as the president of the country, and Nomvula Mokonyane was not sworn in as a member of Parliament during the initial stage of the 5th Parliament sitting down and those members being sworn in. But that was because the president is elected as a member of Parliament first, and because now the president, after being elected as the president of the country, doesn't become a member of Parliament anymore, he loses that title, then that means that there's a vacancy in Parliament because you must have 400 parliamentarians.
Okay, so Didi Mabuza, now deputy in the party, but not in government. What's the expectation around?
Well, I don't see Didi Mabuza, who's the deputy president of the governing party, coming into Parliament and only to be a backbencher in Parliament, or to just be an ordinary minister. I see him occupying that position of the deputy president of the country, because that's the vacancy that has been left after Cyril Ramaphosa was sworn in, was elected and sworn in as the president of the country. So that vacancy has to be filled, and speculation is rife that it will be filled by Didi Mabuza. But there's another issue, Francis, is the issue around gender parity, which has been something that the ANC has been arguing about over and over again. If you remember that last week there was also speculation that the likes of Lindiwe Sisulu or even Naledi Pandor, for that matter, could be appointed by Cyril Ramaphosa to be...
The issue of a female deputy.
Yes, the issue of a female deputy president. But with Didi Mabuza now being sworn in as a member of Parliament, it seems that that debate has been killed.
Sure, and remember, he wasn't firmly in President Cyril Ramaphosa's camp, and the whole issue here is debating unity, working with people who were in a different faction, with coming in with a clean sweep and rooting out anyone linked to perhaps the Guptas. How do you think the president will balance this? And I mean, we're just speculating right now.
It's going to be very tough, and he has to show that he is working towards uniting the ANC, because the ANC is highly divided. If you look at some of the public comments that have been made before by the ANC's NEC member, by the ANC's top 6 officials. If you remember, even on the day when President Jacob Zuma was recalled by the NEC, and we asked the ANC SG whether there's a deadline, and he said that no, there is no deadline. However, though, the president is expected to make a decision by a certain date within 48 hours, only to have the former Secretary General, now the chairperson of the ANC, the former Secretary General of the ANC, who's now the chairperson of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, only for him to say that no, there is a deadline, and if the president does not meet that deadline, the systems of Parliament will kick in and will remove him via a motion of no confidence. So there is definitely this unity within the party, and this would be an opportunity for him to, reach out to those ANC members and say that let's come together and sing Kumbaya together, especially considering that we're going into the elections next year.
And guess who is an MP in Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma from the last time that people were pushed into Parliament. Please stay with us. Maybe we'll have a quick word if possible, but Mzwandile Mbeche is live for us with the latest on this very topic. Mzwai, what do you have